What's up, guys? I am back. It has definitely been a hot minute. I have been going through a lot of things like moving, and I've been in school and trying to find time to go on vacations and stuff and enjoying the newness of marriage. All of the life things came crashing down on me at once. But I am back. I am trying to get back into the rhythm of posting. So here we go. This is a great place to start because I did just get back from a vacation a couple of weeks ago and I gained like 10 pounds. And this doesn't, upset me or anything. It's kind of just a natural thing that happens to me when I go on vacation. Some of it is water weight, so it's not that big of a deal. There's probably a little bit of body fat. There was a lot of excessive eating, maybe a little bit of drinking and stuff involved, but in this video, I'm just going to talk about my game plan to lose this 10 pounds of vacation weight. And maybe this is pretty applicable to a lot of people watching who gain a little bit of weight over the summer, went to too many cookouts, drank too many cold beers or whatever. The fall is always a great time, I think, to kind of get back into the swing of things because not a ton is going on. I mean, there's some cool festive fall stuff happening, but anyway. I digress. Let's get into it. I'm going to talk strategies. I'm going to be pretty specific. I'm not going to give you guys these vague recommendations where you're going to have to go out and watch 13 other YouTube videos to figure out all my little micro points that I make. So let's get into it. So first and foremost, you cannot lose body fat if you do not eat in a calorie deficit. So that is where I am starting. I am establishing a calorie deficit. Now, there are a couple different quick and dirty ways to do this. In a pretty general sense, if you take your body weight and in pounds, for those of you who are international and do kilograms, if you take your body weight in pounds, and multiply it by the number 11 or maybe 12, that will usually place you in a solid calorie deficit. And if you stick to eating that many calories per day, you should be good. To just maybe give you an easy example, let's see. Let's say I weigh about 170 pounds, and if you multiply 170 by 11, you know what, I'm shamelessly going to whip out my calculator to do this arithmetic. You guys don't make fun of me. I am an engineer, but I'm so bad at arithmetic. That's 1,870 calories. So there's an example. You got a 170 pound person, multiply 170 by 11. That's 1,870 calories per day, give or take. Now, the way you can do this is log it on a calorie counting app like MyFitnessPal. It makes it really easy because it'll tell you the calories that are in the foods that you eat and the macronutrient split, because you definitely want to eat enough protein, which is kind of another thing I'm going to incorporate into my strategy, is eating at least my body weight in protein. So let's go back to the 170 pound person example, because that's kind of what I'm floating around right now. I might be a little more. Like I said, I gained a solid 10 pounds on vacation, so I got a little bit of weight to lose. So we'll just round to 170. So multiplying that by 11, you get your calories, and then just using that number for your grams of protein per day target, you can't go wrong. And the advantage of eating a lot of protein like this is that you're going to get full more easily. And when you feel full and satiated, you're not going to want to eat. And if you don't want to eat, then that's going to make eating in a calorie deficit a lot easier. So kind of hitting your calories and eating a sufficient amount of protein, those are kind of the really two important things to lose fat sustainably. Another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start walking a lot more. Again, it is the fall. The fall season is upon us, and the weather's a lot nicer. We here in Ohio had a lousy summer. It was just rainy and humid or scorching hot all the time, and there were just not a lot of good walking days. So personally, I really didn't stick to my getting 10,000 steps a day throughout the summer, but now that the weather's cooling down a little bit more and the weather's a little bit more enjoyable, I'm getting back on path. So, I'm starting okay, I got to lose this vacation weight. We're up to three things. So calorie deficit, eat enough protein, and getting 10,000 steps in per day. Now, it's easy to make excuses to not get 10,000 steps a day. For instance, the one I just used as far as weather, I'm just going to call a spade, and I made excuses and I did not stick to it. There are always things that you can do to make sure you get those steps in. For instance, I could have just walked around my building at work, like tons and tons of laps to get my 10,000 steps. I could have taken the stairs instead of the elevator. Just things like that that make a big difference, even if the weather is really lousy or something. You never want to use that as a poor or a bad excuse to not hit your goals. So those are 3 things that we're up to. The 4th thing, and I think this is important for physique development. The 4th thing is strength training. So I say strength training specifically because you want to lift heavy weights in the gym. And the reason you want to do this is because when you eat in a calorie deficit, your body is going to start using body fat to hit its daily energy requirements, because that's all a calorie is it's just energy, units of energy. And so when it taps into its body fat, there are also metabolic pathways that could trigger, and it could start using muscle mass on your body as well to meet those energy requirements, and you don't want that. You want all of the weight that you lose to be body fat. You don't want to lose a single ounce of muscle, ideally. So, strength training while you are eating in a calorie deficit and eating enough protein, this is kind of a holy trifecta of losing fat and at least maintaining the muscle that you do have. Now, if you don't have a ton of muscle, you can probably get away with losing fat and building muscle at the same time. I would say probably for me to lose fat and build muscle at the same time, it would probably take a very mild calorie deficit, and I'm trying to lose about probably a pound of fat per week. And to be honest, just historically, it's been difficult for me to hit crazy strength gains in the gym or build a crazy amount of muscle while eating in a calorie deficit as aggressive as losing 1 pound a week. So that's my long-winded way of saying if you've been lifting weights for years, manage your expectations. You'll eat in a calorie deficit and you'll lose fat, but you're probably not going to make crazy strength gains or anything. But if you're just starting off or you're relatively new to the gym, you absolutely can get away with losing fat and building muscle. So, going back to this holy trifecta of eat in a calorie deficit, eat enough protein, and strength train. There's your holy trifecta. I know I also talked about walking, but I don't know, I'm just kind of making this up as I go. Not like, I'm making up the structure of the video, not the information. The information's solid. Anyway, your holy trifecta. So the reason you want to do this is because to look good and to be healthy, you want to be strong, you want to have a lot of lean, dense muscle mass, and you want to have low body fat. So you're going to look good, you're going to be healthy, and you're going to be strong. My mantra, as I'm an ex-personal trainer now, but my mantra has always been a strong body is a healthy body. And that has just been proven true time and time again, because think about it. The more time that goes on, as people age, what really makes their bodies to start break down and deteriorating is they lose muscle mass. So if you build strength, the kind of muscle mass that you build when you strength train and lift heavy weights, it's lean, dense muscle mass. I won't go into the different types of hypertrophy, but to build strength, you want to lift heavy weights, you want to work in kind of a lower rep range, and you want to rest long between your sets. That's kind of what you want to do for good strength training. So heavy weight, lower reps, and rest a long time between your sets. And you can probably get away with 2 or 3 sets per exercise, and you want to focus on compound lifts. So yeah, those are definitely things that you want to go to, just kind of general rules of thumb. I won't go super deep into structuring your workout, but I'll leave a workout example down in the description below for you guys. Just so you have something to work with. You can use that as a template. By no means is there anything magical about it. The point is you want to work your muscles, you want to strength train, you want to lift heavier and heavier weights week after week, and you still want to work in kind of a rep range. You want to shoot for 4 or 5 reps so that you're not injuring yourself. You still want to do warm-up sets because, again, you don't want to hurt yourself or injure yourself because that's just going to set you back, and you don't want that, especially if you're setting out on a journey and nothing's going to set you back like injuring yourself, and then you have to take like 2 weeks to recover and rest and heal from your injury. So and then a couple of other things, sort of advanced strategies that sort of matter, but maybe not as much as the calorie deficit and the strength training and getting your steps in, eating enough protein. Those will make a very big difference in terms of fat loss. Actually, I want to talk about one more thing because it's more important than what I was going to talk about. So number 5, intermittent fasting. I think intermittent fasting is a very powerful fat loss hack, and everyone should take advantage of it. So really what I do in the morning is I just sip on black coffee. I don't eat breakfast. I don't wake up and eat first thing in the morning. I wake up and I sip on black coffee all throughout the morning, and I eat lunch and dinner and maybe a snack somewhere, and that's my eating for the day. I don't eat 3 square meals. I don't do a ton of snacking. I might do 1 snack somewhere, just depending on how many calories I have left in my day. But intermittent fasting is definitely a powerful tool. There's a lot of health benefits to fasting that you can capitalize on without having to fast for like 2 or 3 days. That's kind of miserable. So kind of the way to still reap all the benefits of fasting without it really having a big impact or being a miserable experience, just, shoot for like a 16 to 18 hour fast every single day. So you can imagine that, I go to bed and then I sleep 8 hours and then I fast throughout the morning. That's like 4 hours. So I don't know, you're up to like a 12-hour fast. So if you just stop eating, I may have done that math wrong, but anyway, you can imagine, you stop eating a few hours before you go to bed, you sleep 8 hours, and then you fast all throughout the morning and you eat lunch at like 12 or 1 o'clock. You do the math and you can figure that you can hit a 14 to 16 or 18 hour fast pretty easily. And I think it's also powerful because probably one of the best skills that you can develop if you want to get really good at losing fat is to learn how to go long periods without eating food. If you train your body to not just always constantly be thinking about food and what is your next meal going to be and thinking about how hungry you are, you're going to be really good at losing fat. If you master that skill and just get used to not thinking about what your next meal is going to be all the time, then you're going to be solid. And I would recommend, fill your time by doing productive things. Fill your time by doing things that demand your deep focus, because if you're focused on something, if you're at work and you're working on some kind of project or a report or something, maybe you're in school and you really got to sit down for several hours and just get locked in, laser focused and get something done, you're going to be focusing on that. You're not going to be thinking about what your next meal is going to be, what dinner is going to be, what your next snack is going to be. So anyway, that's kind of a side tangent, but intermittent fasting, number 5, I would definitely say that's a very powerful tool that you can use to make fat loss a lot easier, smoother, and more enjoyable. And you can sip black coffee throughout the morning, and I would actually encourage you to. There was actually just a study published this year in 2025, in July, so that was literally just, I'm filming this in August, so that was like last month. This is a brand spanking new study that just came out on 46,000 people over the course of almost 20 years. I think it started back in like 1999, and it tracked people all the way to 2018. And they looked at so many people who didn't drink coffee, who drank coffee with sugar in it and creamer and stuff, and they looked at people who drank black coffee, and they also looked at how much black coffee those people drank. And what they found was that mortality rates were statistically significantly lower in individuals that drank black coffee. And interestingly enough, the more black coffee they drank, it kind of followed a trend that the lower the mortality rate. Now, obviously, there's going to be like a point of, inflection or whatever. I mean, you're drinking like a gallon of coffee a day is, there's not going to be like additional benefits like past a few cups. I think it was individuals that drank 1 cup, they had a lower mortality rate, and then individuals that drank 2 or 3 cups, they had an even lower mortality rate. So that's not to say, oh, well, if I drink 8 to 10 cups, I'm never going to die. Like, no, you can't conclude that. But that's the general trend. And if you don't drink coffee right now, or if you do drink coffee, but you drink sugary, creamer and stuff in it, switch to black. There's health benefits to it. It's going to blunt your hunger if you try the intermittent fasting thing, and that's going to make it a lot easier and more enjoyable. You just sip on black coffee throughout the morning. You're not going to feel hungry, and if you're used to eating breakfast, you might have to battle a little bit with feeling hungry in the morning, but that black coffee does the trick in taking care of that hunger. It's just going to blunt it and make it as if like you actually ate breakfast, and you'll feel fine. And then, health benefits to black coffee. So those are probably the 5 top things that I would encourage you to do. Those are the top 5 things that I'm going to prioritize for myself. And one last thing I'll sort of talk about is I'm incorporating a little bit of cardio into my routine. I'm doing 2 strength training sessions and 1 cardio session per week. Historically, I usually only do strength training, but I think the more research I have done and the more educated I've become in the realm of fitness and nutrition, the more I realize that there are a lot of health benefits in taking care of your heart, and cardio is definitely one of the best ways to take care of your heart. So I'm going to be jumping rope and skipping rope a bunch because I like doing that. I enjoy it. That's how I enjoy doing cardio. I do it high intensity interval training style. And I like, I like the intensity of it too. So I'm just doing a session of jump roping for like 45 minutes, 1 day per week, and then 2 strength training sessions. That's what my workouts are going to look like. And I guess while I'm on the topic, I'm only doing 2 strength training sessions per week because you need to leave some time in between your strength training sessions to rest and recover. Because the thing about lifting heavy weights is that it is very taxing on your central nervous system. So, I mean, you can imagine that if you lift really heavy weights, you're putting a lot of effort into lifting that weight. So another point that I want to make is you shouldn't be going into the gym and doing like 3 sets of 10. If you can do 10 reps, you need to increase the weight. Now, there's a time and place for higher volume training, but I would say if you're trying to lose fat, just forget about that for now. Focus on the strength training, focus on lifting heavy weights, focus on really pushing yourself. Try to progress week to week without hurting yourself. Again, do the warm-up sets and work in like the 4 to 5 rep range. You don't want to shoot for 1 rep maxes, but back to my original point, you want to stick to like 2 or 3 strength training sessions per week, and you want to rest at least 1 day between your workouts because that's going to allow you to rest and recover sufficiently so that you can hit your next workout. And again, like I said, you want to follow a progression system. If you allow your body to rest and recover enough between workouts, you're going to progress week after week after week. So that's pretty much it, guys. Like if I were to give you my template or my fat loss guidebook or whatever, that's pretty much it. There's nothing like rocket sciencey about it. Pretty straightforward. If you want to use some kind of calorie calculator app to figure out your calorie deficit, that's fine too. That'll work. Just figure out your calorie deficit. I like using apps like MyFitnessPal or Chronometer to log my calories and my macronutrients to make sure I'm also hitting my protein and I'm eating in a calorie deficit. whatever tool you want to use to track steps, whatever. Actually, one thing you could do is on your workout days, just work out. So if you're doing strength training or cardio or whatever, just do that. Don't worry about your steps. But then on your rest days, getting those 10,000 steps, that can definitely, what's the word I'm looking for? Supplement or, I don't know, help. I was looking for a fancy word, but that'll supplement your fat loss efforts, is just getting 10,000 steps in per day on your rest days. So yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I'll go ahead and shut up, and that'll be it for this video. I've been talking for about 20 minutes now, so hopefully that gives you guys a solid game plan to follow if fat loss is sort of what you're looking to do coming here into the fall season. And give me a couple months, and I should be able to lose the 10 pounds that I gained from vacation and get back into my rhythm and my swing of things and my diet. And I'm really not a huge stickler about specific foods that I eat. I mean, I have tons of content on testosterone boosting foods and stuff, and what foods you should be eating specifically. If you're interested in that, feel free to check out those playlists. But I think losing body fat is definitely one of the best things that you can do for your health, and building strength is one of the best things that you can do for your health, because a strong body is a healthy body, and body fat inherently is toxic to the body because toxins have a very high affinity for body fat. So just getting rid of body fat is going to have health benefits in and of itself. I mean, you think about all the chronic health conditions that people struggle with, almost in every instance, higher body fat percentages is linked to increased hypertension, increased blood pressure, higher risk for diabetes, all those underlying chronic diseases, really. So to lower your risk of that, lower your body fat. And I really just gave you like the formula to do that. So give this strategy a shot, and feel free to leave comments if you have other tips and stuff. I always love hearing from you guys. But hopefully this video was helpful and insightful. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for sticking around. Hit the like button if you liked it and you got a lot out of it. I'll see you in the next video.